They are so awesome. Thank you, guys. Thank you. I love to hear them sing. It's awesome. Hi, I'm Ginny. I work in the University Advancement Department. Everybody says, what's that? That's what plans all your events. And that's what raises the funds to build all of these nice buildings that we have. And also just to keep the lights on, you know, minor details, things like that. So you wouldn't be here if it wasn't for my department, if I can brag a little bit. But we love what we do, and we love to serve this Elon community. You guys are awesome. The theme for this semester has been resilience. And if you've been coming to Newman Lumen, you have heard many people talk about their life and how they overcame difficulties and things. We all have difficulties. Life is hard for all of us. But I'd really like to address the students in the room, which some are very important to me. Where's my Rachel? Where's my students? There they are, okay. Some of my student workers are here, Michael, who I've known since the first year. Just some very special people are here today, and all of you are special, but I appreciate you coming. And thank you to Carrie and the Newman Lumen for giving me this time. So I'm going to talk a little bit about myself, but also I want to hopefully give you the tools, or at least some tools, to have resilience in your life. Because I think it's important. And the younger you learn it, the better off you're going to be. But it's never too old to learn, right? Learning is a process that we have throughout our whole lifetime. I grew up in Jacksonville, Florida. Yay! So most of my life I was there. Until 2010 I was there. And I did many things there, very well connected, had a lot of, friends, and when I say very well connected, I'm talking about school board, city council, everything from the mayor on down, to whoever. I was very well connected through public broadcasting. I worked there 26 years. And yes, I was on TV. And yes, I was behind the camera. And yes, I entertained people like the Neville brothers and John Denver. He was wonderful. And John Tesh and Kenny G and many, many other people. That's another story. But through my years at PBS, I learned to work with a lot of different people. Unfortunately, though, PBS is not as strong as it used to be. Satellite, cable, things like that kind of really hurt the local PBS station, and I saw that it was time to move on. So in 2010, I took a job opportunity, and I moved from Jacksonville, Florida, where I'd been all of my life, to Brunswick, Georgia. Not only a different city, a different state. And later in life, that's tough. I mean, it's tough anytime to just uproot, leave everything you've ever known, and just start again where you know nobody. It's not an easy thing to do. But I did it for a job opportunity. And after only 1 year, this company that I moved for announced, we're moving to Charlotte, North Carolina. I was not happy. I did not want to uproot again. I did not want to start over again. And the difference between Charlotte, North Carolina and Brunswick, Georgia is kind of like night and day. Little city, big city, cheap to live, very expensive to live, no traffic, lots of traffic. I could go on. Needless to say, I did not like Charlotte, North Carolina. Still don't. I avoided at all costs. So, in 2013, actually, December 12, 2012, my life drastically and suddenly changed. And in 2013, I found myself in a position I'd never, ever been in my whole life. Life threw me a big curve. I found myself without a job. For the first time since I was 12. I had been working since I was 12 years old. A lot of times I had 2 jobs. Now I had nothing. I was in a state where I knew no one, had no connections. I had no job. I took all my stuff, put it in a storage facility, and me and my little 13 at that time, year old Camry, we hit the road. For 2.5 years, me and my little Camry went through 4 states, Florida, Georgia, South Carolina, and North Carolina, and 18 different cities, looking for a job, looking for a new home, looking for a new start. That's not easy, folks. That's not easy. I had never been homeless in my life. I could spend hours telling you about that experience, but I won't. I moved my furniture 5 times during that time. That's tough for a single old lady. That's hard to do, to move your stuff 5 times. But turn the corner here. In the fall of 2015, I came to Elon, and I came to Lakeside. And that's where I met Michael and all my music theater friends that can't be here today because they're practicing and auditioning and things. But I met a lot of students and some of the staff there at Lakeside, and that's the only way I got through that unusual experience was because of these students and because of you staff that would come in and we'd share experiences and all. So from Lakeside, I went, one day Mr. Paul Holt came up to me and he shook my hand and introduced himself and he said, "I've got somebody going out on medical leave. Would you be interested in coming and helping us out for a while?" Yes, that's much more suited to my background and so forth. So I went to physical plant. I was there in the office for almost a year. Wonderful time, and I learned something very important. I learned about the inner workings of this university, and we have a lot of great people that really keep this university going, and I really appreciate them, and I can still call some of them friends today, and I'm really proud of that and thankful for that. From physical plant, I went to campus safety and police. Are you scared? Yeah. I went to campus safety and police, but that was only part-time, and I worked at night, so that was very difficult for me. So after a short time there, finally, in 2016, I was accepted into the University Advancement Department in the annual giving, and that's where I still am. And it's, in many aspects of the annual giving in university advancement, it matched my PBS experience because PBS is always raising money. We had to raise money for our programs and for many different things. So it was a good match and much more accustomed to it, to my background. So without all the other gory details, I'd like to spend time now on looking at how you can be resilient. Did I have resilience through all this? I can't really say that I was really good at it. I had never really learned, because it is something either you've got naturally, some people are just naturally very optimistic and upbeat and, all that, but some people aren't, and they have to learn how to be resilient, how to overcome difficulties, disappointments, things like that, and I hadn't done that very well. So let's take a look at how to be resilient. When you leave today, there's going to be a couple of people giving out a handout, and especially the students. I want you to take this handout, and I want you to keep it. Put it somewhere in the papers where you're going to keep forever. Because if you don't need it now, you will need it someday. Somebody's going to hurt you, or your pet dog is going to die, or you're going to fail a test. Hope not, but maybe you will. Or somebody's going to mistreat you on purpose. Something's going to happen in your life, and you're going to say, I just can't get over this. This is just the worst. And I want you to pull out your little paper, and I want you to read it. And something on that piece of paper, I hope, will help you get through that dark time. And this is just a real brief. I'm not going to read the whole thing because all of you can read. Yay. But the very first thing, what I've done is I've spelled out the word resilience. And R is relationships. And that, my friends, to me, is the very easiest way to get through a hard time. Have a relationship. Ask for help. It was really hard for me to ask for help. I needed help bad when I was on the road looking for a job for 2.5 years. it was hard for me. I was used to giving. I was a very giving person. I was the first one to be there for somebody. I was the first one to cook a meal when somebody was in the hospital or whatever. I was used to giving. I wasn't used to receiving. I had to learn how to receive. It was hard. It was hard. And if I had asked for help more during that time, I think it would have turned out better, but I didn't. But relationships are so important. Find somebody. It can be a friend. It can be a family member. It can be somebody here in the Newman. There's awesome people that work right here in this building. And if you have nobody else, come here. Please come here and find somebody that will sit down and talk. Just talking it out. Offers a suggestion, to help you get through this hard time. Effort, self-discovery, perspective. Look at really what's happening and try to put it in perspective. Nurture yourself. Take care of yourself. 2.5 years on the road, not sleeping well, not eating well at all. It really took a toll on my body. And I'm still recovering today from all of that. I'm really trying to rebuild myself because it really did take a toll. Take care of yourself during the hard times. When there's a death in your family, you may have to take care of mom or dad or aunt or uncle or whoever. Don't forget to take care of you too. So that I hope will help you to get through. And there's some quotes there that I found that I thought might get you through. So you say, well, you're telling me that you didn't have good resilience and you didn't have anybody to talk to and you didn't have any, how did you get through it? What happened? How am I here today? There was a couple times I wanted to give up, but there was one thing and one person that was with me. I was by myself, but I wasn't alone. And I'd like to tell you about him. He's the first and he's the last. He's the beginning, he's the end. He's the keeper of all creation, and he's the creator of all. He's the architect of the universe. He's the manager of all times. He was, he always will be, and he is. He's unmoved, unchanged, undefeated, and he's never undone. He was bruised, but he brought healing. He was pierced, but he eased our pain. He was persecuted, and so was I, but he brought freedom. He was dead, and he brought life. He's risen, and he brings power. We'll celebrate that this weekend. He reigns, and he will bring peace. The world can't understand him. Armies cannot defeat him. Schools, even Elon, cannot explain him. Teachers can't ignore him. Herod couldn't kill him. The Pharisees, they tried to confuse him, but they couldn't. The people couldn't hold him. Nero couldn't crush him. Hitler couldn't silence him. New Age cannot replace him. Even Oprah can't explain him. He's light, love, longevity, and he's Lord. He's goodness, he's kindness, gentleness. He's God. He's holy, righteous, mighty, powerful, and pure. His ways are right, and his word is eternal. His will is unchanging, and his mind is on me. That's the only thing I had to hold on to. He's my Savior, my God. He's my peace. He's my joy. He's my comfort. He's my Lord, and he rules my life. I serve him because his bond is love and his burden is light. His goal for me is abundant life. I follow him because he's the wisdom of the wise, the power of the powerful, the Ancient of Days, the ruler of rulers, the leader of leaders. He's the overseer and the overcomer, and he is to come. If that seems impressive to you, try this on for size. His goal is a relationship with me and with you too. He will never leave me. He'll never forsake me. He'll never mislead me. He'll never forget me. He'll never overlook me, and he'll never cancel my appointment in his appointment book. When I fall, he lifts me up. When I fail, he forgives. When I'm weak, he's strong. When I'm afraid, he's my courage. When I stumble, he steadies me. When I'm hurt, he heals me. When I'm broken, and I have been broken many times, but he's put me back together again, kind of like Humpty Dumpty. When I'm hungry, he feeds me. He literally fed me. When I face trials, he's with me. When I face loss, he provides for me. He's everything for everybody, everywhere, every time, in every way. He's God, and he's faithful. My Father in heaven can whip, and he will whip the father of this world. You wait and see. So if you're wondering why I feel so secure, understand this. God settles it, and he said it, and that settles it, and he's in control. Sometimes in your life you feel like you're at the top of the world and everything's going great. And sometimes you feel like you're sliding down the mountain, and there's kind of a mudslide and you're sliding and you don't know how to stop. Every once in a while you might feel like you're buried underneath all that mud. Take this handout, put it in a place where you know where you can get it, and refer to it if you ever feel like you're buried. Because you can keep going, and there is light and there is life. I hope this has helped you today. God bless you.